110 years. The good Lord has let me spend 110 years on this earth. I've lived long enough to watch two world wars reshape the world, to see a human set foot on the moon, and to watch phones turn into little machines that answer back. And in all those decades, I've seen plenty of foolish choices, especially when it comes to what folks decide to put inside their bodies. My name is Mabel June Carter, and I live in Savannah, Georgia. And let me tell you something that always makes me smile. Every doctor who ever warned me to watch my cholesterol has already passed on. Every single one. MMHMM. They'd walk in with shiny diplomas, brand new prescriptions, and a long list of rules. Eat this, avoid that, count this, fear that. And half the time, it sounded like a script written by a company that wanted to sell me something wrapped in plastic and printed with buzzwords. Well, I'm not here to repeat commercials. I'm here to say what I believe is real wisdom you don't get from television, but from the kind of elders who lived through hard times and learned what truly keeps a person steady. It's not about miracle powders or expensive diets with fancy names. It's about food that's grown, raised, or made the way nature intended, food that comes from the earth. And I've got 7 staples I've leaned on most of my life. 7 foods that, in my view, helped carry me all the way to 110 and still talking. First, and this is the one people love to argue over: coffee. Yes, Lord, a strong cup of black coffee. I've had it nearly every morning since I was a teenager. Folks tried to scare me with talk of heart trouble and jitters. Honey, the real danger is living your whole life tense and worried about every little thing. That coffee wakes up the mind, gets your system moving, and gives you a clean little push to start the day. Just keep it simple. Drink it black. Don't drown it in sugar and artificial creamers. That's where people get themselves into trouble. Second is what I call nature's candy. Berries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, anything in that family. When I was young, we'd pick them where we could find them. These days, I buy them like everyone else, but I still make sure I have some regularly. They're sweet without being the kind of sugary rush that leaves you feeling worse later. And all those deep colors, that's not decoration. That's strength. The medicine is in the color, my father used to say, and I never forgot it. Third comes from the water. Fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, the oily ones. We didn't always have fancy choices when I was growing up, but sardines were easy to find, and I learned to appreciate them. Some people call it plain food. I call it smart food. Your brain and nerves depend on good fats, and fish is one of the cleanest ways to get them. People argue about risks and warnings, but I'll tell you what scares me more than a fish dinner: a mind that can't stay sharp when it matters. Fourth, eggs, whole eggs, yolk included. For years and years, folks were told the yolk was the villain. A whole generation got spooked away from one of the simplest, most complete foods you can eat. The yolk is where the richness is. I've eaten eggs my whole life, and I never treated them like something to fear. A good egg is like a little package of nourishment built exactly the way it's supposed to be. Fifth, and I know this one makes some people uncomfortable, red meat, especially the kind that comes from an animal that actually lived like an animal, not a factory product. I'm not talking about overeating or making it every meal. I'm talking about quality and balance. The body needs certain building blocks, and red meat has a lot of them. When people feel worn down and weak, sometimes it isn't just old age. Sometimes it's because they're not getting what their body is asking for. Sixth is fermented foods. We didn't use fancy words for it. We called it pickles. We called it sauerkraut. We called it buttermilk. Food that's been made the old way, alive, tangy, and real. Your gut is like a garden. If the soil is poor, everything struggles. Fermented foods, in my experience, help keep the inside of you settled and working the way it should. And let me tell you, a calm stomach makes for a calmer life. And seventh, my little personal treat is raw cacao, not candy bar chocolate, not that sugary stuff people grab at the checkout counter. I mean real cacao, dark, bitter, and strong. The kind that tastes like earth. I've used it the way some folks use a tonic, just a small amount, consistently. It's one of those things that gives you a quiet kind of lift, like it's nudging your body to keep its spark. So that's my list. Coffee, berries, fatty fish, eggs, red meat, fermented foods, and cacao. It doesn't sound glamorous, and it's certainly not what most advertisements push. But it's simple, it's steady, and it's lasted me a very long time. Now listen, this part matters most. It isn't only the food. Food is fuel, but it's not the whole machine. The real engine is your spirit. You need a reason to wake up. You need people to care about. You need something to look forward to, even if it's small. You can eat perfectly and still fall apart if you're carrying bitterness every day. So you forgive when you can. You laugh even when life gets heavy. You sit outside and watch the evening light change. You say thank you for making it through another day. Do that. And keep your plate honest. And you might surprise yourself with how long you can last. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's about time for my coffee.